Back in 1977, I spent a long weekend in Amsterdam, and while there I went to the Modern Art Museum, and as I walked through the exhibition I could hear these voices saying, "Gordon's makes us drunk, Gordon's makes us drunk," and it was just over and over and over, and their voices became more slurred as the alcohol kicked in. And this went on for an hour with Gilbert and George, who I'd never heard of, just reciting that. And then in 1995, I was lucky enough to get an invite to the South London Gallery, where they had the naked shit pictures on display. Very controversial at the time, but I just loved what they did. I bought a piece, Red Morning, which is a black and white piece that they did. They have created 2,200 pictures, and unbelievably, they brought 62 of those pieces to Auckland. I was offered the chance to interview the pair, and I asked Evan Woodruff, who's a well-known artist and very nice guy, I asked him if he would help me with the more technical arty questions. So I hope you enjoy our little video.
We're excited. It's the first of our 21st century picture shows. We always say it's past, present and future, and if we can put the past, present and future into a picture, then we're winning. It has to be those three elements.
We always do the invitation card, the catalogue and the installations. Every show we ever did. All the museums, we did them. Because it's our world that we are going into, and we know more about our world than anybody else. But it is quite interesting because we open the door of 40th Street and we're making a global art. It doesn't matter if we pick up what they call cigarette, and we are able to make it global. We never want it local. The art has to be understood universally.
What I like is it's very prosaic and very fundamental bits and pieces, from sort of tabloid shouter boards next to the newsagents to...
They are very good, those pieces. The London pictures, we call them.
Fantastic. My
Yes,
favourite room.
yes. The London pictures. We collected 5,000
We stole 5,000 pieces.
stolen every night. Oh, yeah.
It's very good. We were always interested in the evening standard because from being baby artists, we always passed Liverpool Street Station in the morning, and there was a very nice man there who sold the evening standard. He was quite elderly, and his mother was much older, and she sold the rival paper, the Evening News, on the other side of the road. And we sort of became friends. We were just saying a few words every day, and then he became very old and very ill, and we got very anxious about him. And one day he said, "Here, have you heard this one?" And he gave us a little rhyme, and we went home and wrote it down. It was very sweet to have it. And within weeks he died, so it obviously gave us the little poem as a sort of present. And it's a beautiful, beautiful rhyme. The rhyme goes, "My sister Lily is a whore down Piccadilly. My mother is another down the Strand. My father sells his arsehole down the Elephant and Castle. We're the finest fucking family in the land." It's extraordinary. From a man we never really knew.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. And it was a gift from a dying person.
That hidden rudeness or something is something that everyone has, and you've revealed it in this work. I mean, your shit and piss work. Everyone shits and pisses.
After all, we started out in 1968, Gilbert the shit and George the cunt. So after that, we never looked back.
We thought we were living in the centre of the universe in the Charing Cross Road. We thought it was extraordinary. We felt totally privileged and very, very big-headed. Extraordinary.
We had amazing luck, I must agree that. We were taken up at the beginning in 1970, and that was it. We became the artwork ourselves, and that was our biggest invention, that we were the living sculpture, we were the object that is speaking to the world, no?
It was very good because all of our contemporaries leaving St Martin's School of Art were all looking for Arts Council grants for subsidised studios and all of those things that wouldn't be available to us anyway. Yeah? So that was very, very good for us.
And then what was very exciting is that we invented our language ourselves. This is a different language that nobody We invented it, and we are doing it ourselves.
We found our way to make pictures. Yeah.
It took a long time to invent it. First, we did it all in black and white, and then in '74, we added the color to make it more aggressive in some way. Then we did the dirty words that are even more exciting. Then we exploded in 1980 in 4 colors, and then after that, we created our world, our way of making art. That's quite exciting.
We had to find our way for color. Every artist, amateur or professional or a child artist, has a box of crayons or all the colors. We didn't have any colors. Yeah? We had to find red, and another 2 years before we added yellow. It's extraordinary. We started as sculptors, and we weren't trained as picture makers. Right. Yeah? We were trained as sculptors.
But we were the subject. We are looking, watching the world, and we experience the world, we experience inner feeling, but it is all us. We are not artists who paint something on a screen. We never did that. It is all our inner thoughts, our inner feeling, expressing ourselves, being alive. I think that's what our art is.
And we read a newspaper every morning. We see the news on television in the evening. So it's not just Spitalfields, right?
Right. Yeah.
George always looks at the obituaries, and we are still there.
And we see the 3 people who died. You're 67, 75, and we say, well, we beat that lot. We were very, very anti-formalist because we realized at St. Martin's that if you take the students' work or the teachers' work out of the building onto the Charing Cross Road, most of it wouldn't be noticed by anybody. It wouldn't. And we realized that we wanted to have a content and a meaning. So we said, well, why not death?
Hope.
Life.
Fear.
Sex.
Money.
Race.
Religion.
Shitty.
Naked.
Human.
World.
And then you have it, yeah? Then you have it. We all have fears and dreads and loves and hates, and we want our art to be part of that.
And even we're trying to make, I don't know, it sounds, a moral art.
The moral dimension.
A moral art.
Moral dimension.
We're
not against immorality, but this is a moral dimension we're talking about now. Don't change the subject.
We are doing the new group of pictures now called the corpsing pictures. And they're quite exciting.
Because most people think it's to do with dead bodies and the corpse, but it's also the theatrical meaning when an actor is in the middle of a speech and he can't remember the words or somebody makes him giggle. It's corpsing, yeah? And we like to use that because that's what happens in art. Time and time again, we see people walking, strolling through a gallery, or past the landscape, the still life, the portraits, and suddenly they see something that is a bit worrying, and they grin and start giggling, and that's corpsing. And we see people doing that with our pictures as well.
We have them running out of shows or banning pictures. We always had that. Museums taking down pictures of us, and all the time we had that.
Stuff quite early on, was it 1970 or so, with a cunt shit.
That was banned in Studio International. Studio International. They put a kind of piece of white on top of it.
Over the so-called offending words, yeah.
Was that a badge of honour? Did you think you'd made a good effect?
The Studio International thought they were the leading art magazine in the world and the most avant-garde, outrageous publication ever, but they couldn't have shit and cunt.
No, we got away with it. I must admit that. We got away when we did naked shit pictures. That was extraordinary. We did in South London Gallery, out of the blue. 1,000 people a day there. It's just extraordinary. I don't know why it's so excited about that, but
his pictures, you'd magnified up urine until you got the crystalline structure.
Amazing designs.
Which was like...
We took the images. We take all the images ourselves.
It was a revelation to us.
Revelation, because a lot of people think, we are buying images or something like that. Every photograph, every image that is in our pictures, we took. It's all made by us. It's totally. We don't have an assistant. We have a helper, Yui Gang. We are the 3 people, but we doing the art, and we always did, and nobody else.
So all of that magnification and everything, that was yourself learning?
It was completely by chance. We used to see the raindrops on the cars parked outside our house every day, and we thought we would like to take an image of a raindrop. Well, you can't get close enough with the camera to take a single raindrop. So we bought a microscope and put a raindrop on a slide and put it in. And yes, you can take an image. It's a little difficult to take. And then we got bored and we left it. And then in the evening, before dinner, we'd forgotten whether we switched off the electric microscope. And we went down to see, and I looked in to see, and there was an amazing garden of plants and things. And that was because the drop had just changed and formed into something else.
Well, it was a drop of pea, that's what it was. Yeah. And that's what excited us so much. So we took 3 weeks every day to those images. And one day, the critic David Sylvester came to see us, and he was so excited. Immediately he went and pee in the glass, but nothing happened.
He wanted to be in the pictures, but he was an art writer, so it would be abstract, wouldn't it? And then, of course, we did spunk as well, yeah, right. And sweat, which was very exciting. You find swords and daggers in sweat. There must be a reason for that. Yeah. There are crucifixes in piss, not in sweat. Extraordinary. No, there are other forces.
Every time we do a group of pictures, we have a theme, like the Jack Freaks. That's quite a good title, the Jack Freak ones.
Yeah. The colour that you've got back in there is quite a different colour.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
That is, in fact, is in our cemetery in Christchurch, Spitalfields.
Just around the corner.
Around the corner, that's where it is. Yeah.
We just wanted 2 tombs that no longer had the name. So they're anonymous, yeah. They're just used as benches, in fact. And the drug bags was exciting because every morning we got up and walking to get a newspaper, and the drug bags from last evening were on the pavement all the way. And there were always different ones, yeah. Extraordinary. And it's such an extraordinary subject. You can't open a newspaper or magazine anywhere in the world that doesn't discuss drug addiction or drug problems or drug this or drug that. It's an amazing subject, yeah. Now, the nitrous oxide canisters are very good because it reminds, once they're in the pictures, it reminds everyone of bombs. And again, it's the great world subject of our time, yeah? Yes.
And we have a very good story about this artwork here.
Yes.
It's very good. It's one of the
utopian ones.
Utopian pictures, and we showed them first in a gallery, a commercial gallery, strangely in Singapore. And the nice owner of the gallery has a son who's 8 or 9 years old, and was very excited by the exhibition. And he said he would give the boy one of the pictures from the show. That would be his for life, yeah? And the boy ran around the gallery very excited, and then came back to the father and said, "Dad, I want Homo, please."
Homo riot, yeah. But it's very exciting because kids, they all love it because it just speaks to them. It's the modern language of kids. It's not like the old-fashioned, what they call cave painters, no? Yeah. I mean, young people are able to read our pictures much better than, let's say, older people, because they think art has to be painting. And they think if not, it's not art. No? If you don't have a brush in your hand, it's not art. No? And so we change that for a lot of people.